Sway TV, a show created for the youth, by the youth. My name is Kamyra Jennings, and today we have Mr. Garret Anderson, a professional dancer. Mr. Anderson, how are you today?
Great, thanks for having me.
Thank you, it's our pleasure. I'd like to ask you, what first started you to want to become a dancer?
Well, I started studying music first, actually, when I was about 6. My older brother played the violin, so I knew I didn't want to play the violin, but I started studying the cello. And I think through classical music and just an exposure to performing early on, I was just interested in the arts in general, and my mom had taken me to see some ballet performances. And so a little bit later, I think when I was about 8, I expressed interest in that, and she signed me up right away. Because she had been a dancer as a kid and was just eager to expose me to that more, I think.
When you first started dancing professionally, was there any obstacles you had to go through to get you where you are now?
Yeah, I mean, I think there were obstacles every day of dancing. All through the training, as a young person, it's just a really competitive field. There's not a whole lot of jobs out there for professional dancers, so I mean, I had many classmates who were really talented dancers and struggled to find a job, so I just felt fortunate to even have a job to begin with. But then through the professional part of my dance life, I think, yeah, there were definitely obstacles every day, large and small, just from the daily practice. Kind of, I guess, classify that as my own obstacles, like my own frustration or my own discipline, to things that were felt beyond my control, like injuries or getting the part. There's just the competitiveness of the field. Similar to any high performing career, I think. The name of the game was just facing challenges and figuring out how to overcome them, or how to start again every day and keep your confidence up and keep trying.
I heard you say something about injuries. Was there a certain injury that stopped you from getting a part?
I don't remember any specific thing stopping me from getting a part. I do remember a series of shows that I actually had to stop performing. We had performed the show for about a week, and I was really enjoying it, but I had to eventually tell my boss that I couldn't continue because my doctor was calling me, telling me that I needed to stop dancing or it was going to get much worse. And that was basically a stress fracture in one of my bones in my lower leg, and it had developed slowly over time, so I just had gotten used to the pain and was trying to convince myself that I was fine, but it was the kind of thing that I just had to stop. Fortunately, I've never had a traumatic injury or something happen on stage where I just couldn't dance, but the kind of chronic tendinitis and muscle tears and strains were kind of what I dealt with. But
Mr. Anderson, what was your first performance that you did that made you love your career? And what was the biggest performance you've done in front of people? How many people was it?
Well, the first performance that I remember really feeling excited in the sense that I knew my professional path was before me. It was probably the first time that I performed with a professional company. I was still a student, but it was a production where they were using some of the older students to kind of fill in the production. So it was just a thrill for me to be on stage with seasoned professionals, and I had a very small part, but I just remember knowing that I was part of something bigger and part of something that was a really high caliber, and also gave me a sense of what I had to work up to. The biggest performance I can remember, I think there are two that have come to mind. There was one I was on tour in Athens, Greece, and we were performing outside, just below the Acropolis. So it was a big amphitheater, and it's probably one of the oldest theaters in the world. And I think just the context of being in a place where theater was actually created, in a sense, was really special. And there were just tons of people. I think there were 12,000 people there. And the other performance I remember was actually the first performance I gave in Chicago. And I was with a company based in San Francisco at the time, but we were part of a festival here, and it was in Millennium Park, the outdoor pavilion, kind of right at the edge of the park. And the lawn was just packed. It was a free show, so there were tons of people there, and we just kind of felt like rock stars because the audience was so great, and people were cheering. And it was a summer night, and I just remember being really in love with the city of Chicago, because it was new to me then, and just feeling like that was a really special moment.
So what brought you here to Chicago? Was it the dance company you worked with, or was it something else that brought you here?
Well, I knew that I loved the city from the performance that I had just mentioned, but it was the dance company specifically that brought me here. I was living in Europe at the time with my wife, dancing in a company in Belgium, and we were in a ballet company there. It was a ballet company that did a broad variety of work, so some contemporary dance, but I knew that I was really interested in exploring contemporary dance more, and the company in Chicago, Hubbard Street Dance Chicago, is a contemporary company, so I knew that it was something I wanted to focus on, and I knew it was an amazing company. I had a couple friends from San Francisco who had come here to join my company years earlier, so I kind of followed their path in that. And I had also met the director before he became the director. I had known him in San Francisco, and he was also previously director in Europe of a very famous contemporary company. So I knew that I was interested in the work they were doing, and I knew that the people here were great. And it was really a dream company for me for a long time, and I just didn't really believe that I would ever have the opportunity to dance here, but I heard that they were looking for people, and I flew and auditioned, and it worked out. So yeah, the short answer to that is yes, it was the company that drew me here.
Well, Mr. Anderson, it was a pleasure for you to come out today.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
My name is Kamyra Jennings, and this is Sway TV. Thanks for tuning in. See you next time.